Hey there friends, my name is Mark Reyes of the CTC Academic Studio, and welcome to this short video tutorial on how to convert from degrees to radians, as well as radians to degrees. This tutorial will go over the technique for both conversions, as well as a few practice problems to help you learn. Before we begin, let's review degrees. Degrees are used to measure angles. As many of you know, there are 360 degrees in a circle. Degrees are commonly used, but it is not an SI unit. Let's also go over radians. Radians are also used to measure angles. A radian is equal to arc length divided by radius. 1 radian is the angle measure, where the arc length is equal to the radius. Radians are the official SI unit for measuring angles. Radians are often measured with pi, and there are 2 pi radians in a full circle. To do the following problems, we're going to use what I call the conversion ratio. Remember that there are 360 degrees in a circle. There are also 2 pi radians in a circle. Using these two values, we can create a ratio of degrees to radians. We have 2 pi radians on top, 360 degrees on the bottom. If we reduce that, we get pi radians for every 180 degrees, or 180 degrees for every pi radians. This is the conversion ratio that we will use to convert one from the other. Let's do an example of converting degrees to radians. Let's say I wanted to know what 60 degrees was in radians. Since we're starting with 60 degrees, I will multiply by the conversion ratio that has degrees on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply 60 degrees by pi radians over 180 degrees. Ignoring units for a second, we have 60 pi on top and 180 on the bottom. If you reduce that, we get pi third radians. Notice that we had to use a conversion ratio with degrees on the bottom since we started with degrees. Let's do an example of converting radians to degrees. Let's say we had 2 pi third radians and we want to know what that equals in degrees. Since we started with radians, we will multiply by the conversion ratio that has radians on the bottom. So we will multiply 2 pi third radians by 180 degrees over pi radians. Multiplying across gets us 360 pi on top and 3 pi on the bottom. Reducing this fraction gets us 120 degrees. So 2 pi first radians is equal to 120 degrees. Notice again that since we started with radians, we had to multiply by the conversion ratio that has radians on the bottom. Let's conclude the video tutorial by reviewing the information we learned. Degrees and radians are both used to measure angles. Note that radians are the official SI unit, while degrees are not the SI unit for angles. However, it is helpful to know how to convert between them. We do this by using the conversion ratio. What is the conversion ratio? Pi radians for every 180 degrees, or 180 degrees for every pi radians. Whichever one you use depends on which measure you start with. If you start with degrees, use the one on the left. If you start with radians, use the one on the right. That's the end of this video, and I hope it's helped you learn how to convert from degrees and radians to degrees. On the following slides are some example problems. I recommend that you pause the video, do them on your own, and see if you come up with the correct answer. Thanks for watching and have a good day.